Hey everyone, it is finally here, the premiere of season 4. I cannot believe it. We are already in season 4. And before we get started, I have something to share with you all. It's kind of a moment of humility for me. But we have been working to improve the podcast, and a lot of that comes from things we hear back from you all. And one of the things we've heard a lot about is improving the quality in which we record the podcast. We've been trying to take a lot of steps in that, and we've been proud of a lot of the things we've been doing to prepare for season 4. We even talk a bit about it in this episode you're about to hear, but God had to humble me, especially in this, that on the post-production side, we ended up running into a few complications. And it's ironic, especially with all of the talk we end up doing in the episode about how we are working to improve the quality, that then we ran into all of these issues. So it is definitely humbling. And I want to send a special thank you to Alfonso Corona, who was so helpful on the post-production side of doing the best we could with what we had. So thank you to Alfonso. He is amazing. And we hope that through all of this, you enjoy this episode as we start this journey in season 4.
Life on Side B is a ministry of pastorship, a missiological ministry equipping church leaders and parents on LGBTQ inclusion and care. You can learn more at postureshift.com. Also, we want to thank all of our patrons who keep the podcast going through their continued giving. So if you love the podcast and would like to become more involved, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/lifeonsideb. And now to continue with our episode.
And we're off.
We're off. You all were here for season 4. Can you believe it?
Season 4, we are here. Back, baby. We are back.
That feels like we are a well-established podcast at this point.
I know.
I feel like I should know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Literally, one of my favorite moments at Revoice was when someone came up to me and went, listen, Life on Side B, love it. It's great. Great content. So, audio production.
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
And I was like, 100%.
Well,
we
at
learn
least
as we
they
go.
prefaced it. They were trying to be nice.
Oh, we're good.
Paul was so
I love
shady
it when
with
people
that
volunteer to help with things.
Yeah,
when
okay,
they
but if you're
make
not going to
statements
help,
like
don't
that.
critique.
Yeah, that's right.
So Paul was going after that?
Yeah, he said yesterday, he's like, I'm so excited y'all are going to be back with audio issues and all. I was like...
I can't.
And I was like, this bitch.
You should have just said, so you're what I'm hearing you say is you're volunteering to help us with audio. Is that correct?
You know
Exactly.
I should have called him out on that.
I mean, personally, I'm glad that's the only one of our issues that people want to pick on.
Yeah.
I mean, because there are plenty
That's it.
of issues.
That's it. Well,
And they're still
I should've called
listening.
him out
They're
on that.
yeah.
they're still listening, so that's
Okay, you
fine.
listen- right? Okay, you're
Something
listening,
right.
Ho. Okay.
Well, listeners, welcome as well. Thank you for being here with us. We are so glad. And Elizabeth, welcome. We already did our introduction episode, but we're so glad you're here.
So excited, y'all. Like already thinking about what's ahead. I cannot wait. I'm excited to be on the
Yes,
podcast. I'm excited to
welcome.
listen to the podcast, the whole thing.
Well, we are, absolutely excited you're here. And I would like to, how was everyone's holidays? Hopes and dreams for 2022? Anyone have anything that stands out? Fun things from the holidays or things excited about for this next year as we get started?
I got to surprise you in Florida. That was fun.
Girl, I can't. I was not ready.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I come home and Christian's like, I have a present. And for all of our listeners, we put this on our stories. I'll re-put it on or something when we do this in case anyone missed it. But Christian was like, I got a present. And that was after we decided we weren't going to get presents for each other. And I was like, crap.
It's my favorite part of the holiday, and I had nothing to do with it.
You are there. That was a highlight for me.
Sitting on the
anything
bed.
else
I
that
love
stood
the
out?
video.
Yeah.
Just
Sitting
chilling.
there.
Oh my God, Josh dropped the
Yes.
F-bomb a couple of times in the longer version of the video.
I did.
I'm just surprised it wasn't
I
me
did.
that did it, because y'all know how I can get. So.
Can y'all hear me better now?
Yes.
Yes, we can. That's perfect.
Way
That's
better,
great.
yeah.
I fixed
Ugh.
something.
Yeah.
I have like an old-ish computer, so it took me a few seconds to find it, but I did it.
Okay. All right. Great. See, improving audio.
Okay,
quality.
Paul.
Okay, Paul.
Oh God.
Yes.
I can't.
So,
really
my
quick, I should have
kids-
done- Go
oh.
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say for the holidays, I was traveling to Maryland. My oldest son got sick like the weekend before Christmas, throwing up everywhere. Then 3 days, my youngest son got sick, throwing up everywhere. So Christmas was like vomit and bleach. And then our housemate got COVID. So our house was like a hospital, mini hospital, all holiday weekend. And then I got the stomach bug after that. So New Year's, I was, yeah, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. But we're all healthy now. Yeah.
I ended up getting COVID.
Oh
over the
no.
holidays. Yeah. Thankfully, it wasn't bad, but I got it on Christmas Eve and then realized it. So quarantined. So much fun.
Our Christmas was pretty cool because it was like the first time the baby could like open presents and stuff. So it was pretty fun. He had a ball.
Aw. I know.
Like his
I love
birthday
it.
was like it's like his birthday's the 13th. So he had like a trial with the presents. So the first time he was like he kind of like looked at it. He didn't really know what to do with it. And then into it, he got used to it. By Christmas come, he knew exactly what to do.
Love it. They learn fast.
Watching
yeah.
little kids demolish.
He's one
wrapping
of those
paper is so
birthdays
much
like
fun.
Becca, who's right around Christmas.
That's right. Get your Christmas
Oh,
cards and say
when's your
happy birthday. December 21st.
Okay.
Wow. Oh, you're right there.
Yeah, my parents brought me home from the hospital on Christmas Eve.
Aw.
Yeah, like my anniversary's in December. My son's birthday's in December. 2 of my brother's birthdays are in December. My mom's birthday's in December. And so is my
Wow.
sister-in-law.
Oh wow.
Oh my goodness.
That's busy.
So
Yeah.
that happened 9
Yeah.
months before December. What are we talking about? It was like March, right?
That's March
break?
because I'm a November baby and we're pretty much all Valentine's.
Your Valentine's Day, yes.
Yeah.
I think March is we're cold and there's nothing to do, babies. Or December,
Well,
that's
the
what
ones that are in
December.
December were my mom's 3rd and 4th kids. So
Yeah.
I don't even know. And then, but then her last 2, that was my dad coming home for Thanksgiving because their birthdays are July and August.
You.
But I can tell you what the babies that were born in December 2020 and January 2021, I can tell you what those babies are.
Oh,
Those are
yeah.
lockdown babies.
Yeah.
Those are quarantine babies.
Lockdown. Okay, that makes it sound so terrible. These are lockdown babies.
And it's so funny because people tell us that they were like, "Oh, y'all found something to do while y'all was in the quarantine or whatever." But it's like we have been trying to have a baby for 6 years. I doubt COVID what made the miracle baby.
That's true. That's true.
See, all
Oh,
these people
goodness.
getting babies, and I got a cat.
Okay, I got a dog.
That
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You already have 2 children.
Yeah, I mean, I even joined a Facebook group called Corona Cats of
Oh, my
all
gosh.
the people who got cats while they were in lockdown. It was great.
You already have 2
Yeah.
kids. I feel like getting another one would be like
Yeah.
that'd have been a lot.
That'd be a lot. That'd be a lot.
Don't even think about it.
Yeah, on occasion, one or the other of them will ask if they can have a younger sibling, and it's always a pretty quick no. Like we struggle to take care of the animals. We're not taking care of another human being.
I got you off as a 2-for-1 deal, and
Yes.
That's
Goodness.
right. If y'all were supposed to have more siblings, they would
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
My
Okay, why am I
goodness.
about to lay down? Oh my
Shit.
gosh. Okay.
Changing the topics a little bit. And Henry, if you don't want to say anything, you don't have to. But this is the first episode you've been in since everything happened.
Did I miss
How
one
are you
when I was
feeling?
gone?
No, Yeah, because that all happened after Revoice. Yeah, you missed the Revoice.
No, you missed
meeting.
the
Yeah.
We
meeting.
wrapped up.
So how are
Yeah.
you doing?
Was I not? I was on the December meeting.
Oh no, you were. You were.
Yeah.
You were.
Yeah.
Yes, I probably just
That's
didn't.
right. Sorry, we
You
were
ended
thinking
up
you
coming.
were
Yeah, that's
going
true.
to be able to,
Yes, I probably just didn't have a lot to say.
but then you were there.
Yes, but I pulled through, so.
So Henry didn't skip a beat.
No,
So
no.
I know many of our listeners would want to ask, how are you doing?
I'm
Yes.
doing well. Thank you for asking. So, I just laid down, so I know they know that. I am doing well. Just lots of doctor's appointments. I'm on 8 meds a day. But yeah, I'm hanging in there, so I appreciate the prayers and well wishes and thoughts of everybody. Certainly, my life is a miracle, and it is weird to like literally be cognizant and aware of that like I should not be here, I shouldn't be alive, but here I am because we serve the God of miracles. So
Amen.
yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm
There's too much for you left to do, Henry. Too much left.
too much, so I'm back, baby. Okay, y'all thought y'all
No,
can
we
get
need you
rid,
too bad.
rid of me
Nobody
that
else.
easy? Nuh-uh.
No.
Okay, yes, I'm right back.
And I'm going to put it out there for listeners. If you can still give towards that GoFundMe, do it. Y'all, medical bills are insane. I'm just going to throw it out there as well.
Y'all, I literally opened up yesterday just at mailbox like $11,000 worth of bills. I opened them at the door and I just put them right back.
You're like,
in the mailbox. I
return
didn't
to
even read them,
sender.
so-
I feel that. Like
I was like, this.
Yeah.
right now, every time we get
Yeah.
mail, Jorge's like, I don't.
I
wanna
mean,
know.
because these numbers are made up, y'all. For my 11 days in the hospital, it was a $313,000 hospital bill. I'm like, this is just crazy, and so
It's insane.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
so.
Putting that out there.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that.
You are going to be one amazing tax write-off for that hospital.
Okay, I mean, truly, Lord. But I am back and ready to get back to things. So.
And we are so glad. We're so glad. So, and that kind of
Yes.
points us into our theme, resilience.
Resilience. Okay.
Teach us your wisdom.
Yes.
How
Yes.
how are you so resilient?
You know what? Just listen to Katy Perry song called "Resilient" off her last album. And so yes,
Does that
I
need to be our
do,
theme
Death
song?
cannot get
it
you.
is okay. Oh, death, where is your sting? Okay,
Where is it?
okay. Come on, my first scripture reference. Okay, the
Yes.
yes,
I like
and
it. I
song
like it.
reference. Okay, hell, where is your victory? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so getting into the meat of the conversation, I guess we'll start with, how do you define resilience, and why do you think it's important for queer or same-sex attracted Christians? Anyone want to go first on that?
Why do I always feel like we're missing a co-host? I literally always feel like we're missing somebody, and the 6 of us here, so we're not.
We're not. We're all
Did we
here.
have did we maybe have 7 like season 2?
No, it was.
We just have all the honorary former hosts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So close to
Dingling
your
in
heart.
your
I think it's just that we're missing faces. Like, you get used to Mary's face, or you get used to Sarah's face, and now we're changing. We're so glad you're here, Elizabeth, and you completely.
Yeah.
I know. Wow. Thanks. Thanks, Henry.
Okay. No.
Like,
You're a great
something's
addition.
just not cutting it yet.
No. But yes, resilience.
So resilience.
Yeah. I see. I think I kind of. I mean, maybe just synonyms in certain ways, but resilience and perseverance. I think resilience is just having the. I won't say capacity because we're all built different ways, but I think having the knowledge that our strength really doesn't come from us ourselves, but rather the Lord, and leaning into that. And I think that's how we can achieve resiliency by. What does it say? Because knowing in meekness we have a kingdom to gain, and so I don't know where that is in Scripture. Where's my Bible? Oh, my phone's right here. Okay, but yeah, as I was kind of thinking through that earlier this afternoon, I was kind of thinking through perseverance, and then so for the race set before me, kind of as well. Yeah. So those are kind of my thoughts.
I think too, resilience is about having a goal and staying focused on the goal. And so it's not just like dealing with pain or suffering, although that's part of it, but it's dealing with obstacles to the goal. And I think queer folks, LGBTQ folks might have a lot of training in that. In that, like, in seeking to live openly and honestly, there's a lot of setbacks in relationships with people and in institutions that can really try and force you to step back into a closet or to be less than honest or to shrink yourself to appear smaller, that sort of thing. So I think maybe we have a lot of training in that. But also we need it. We need it a lot. So like the training doesn't mean that we're like superheroes. We all still need a lot of help when it comes to growing in resilience. So I'm excited to dive into that this season and learn from everyone else.
Did anybody else in school have to read about, it was like a poem about like this cart that lasted 100 years or something?
No.
It was
Now you have to tell us about it.
Yeah, I don't remember who wrote it or what it was, but it was like, it was built so well that it lasted 100 years and it fell apart all together at the same time instead of like breaking apart. It was just like one day, all of a sudden, it just kind of combusted. Just to say, like, resilience to me almost, what's the word? Like implies a sturdiness, like something that is in a way built to last, something that can resist the things that it's going to encounter, the things that are, you know, like a resilient house or a resilient something is something that can withstand. And like, and then after, like, as I was thinking about it, so like I looked it up, and it apparently means the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness, or the ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape, elasticity. And I feel like in a way, queer Christians are almost like, kind of like Grant was saying, that we have a little more training in that because of the different things that we encounter. And it's how do I put it in a way that doesn't sound terrible, but it's like one of the things that builds resilience in us, I think, is facing those difficulties head on. And that's one of the things I hope in this season we talk about, is how to face those difficulties, how to not shrink away from them, but how to go into them, you know, knowing that God is with us and that we can face them head on, and that will build resilience in us.
Yeah, actually, I love. I was just thinking about, like, when I think about resilience, it's how to, like, it's when you can get back up again. Like, it's just like getting on the trail, getting back up from pushed down or circumstances. And I think what comes to mind with resilience is that, like, you will have to deal with trials. Like, resilience basically ensures that trials will have to be faced, difficulty will come, and that, like, there are scars that we have to bear. And when I think of people, or I guess things that are resilient, there really are scars involved. Like, there are that, you know, you see. Like, I love to cook, so whenever I'm cooking, if I burn myself, like, those stay with me to the kitchen. You know what I mean? Or like, if you have surgery, you might still have scars left of the surgery, but the beauty is that you've recovered. Like, you are here to talk about it.
Look at the scar on my chest. Where'd it go? I don't want to get up. Speaking of that, where's my scar? Right there.
It's a
But
great
look at
scar.
that. And so, but I'm still here.
Exactly.
Okay.
It speaks to your resilience. Like, it's a sign of, like, not you have, but it tells a story, like you were saying, Henry, of God's faithfulness, His goodness, the power that He has to even allow us to be as resilient as we are. So, yeah, and I think, like, within the queer community, within the side B community, like we all have scars, like we all have stories, we all have internal homophobia, like all the things that we've had to bear. Even though I maybe don't hold the same amount of before, or I don't care about people's opinion about me as I did before, it's still a scar. Like, it's still a part of my story, even though it would hurt the same way it did when I initially had those conversations or had that feeling.
Yeah, if as someone said one time in a class I had, they said, like, scars, they're still there. They show that, like you said, that we've recovered, that we've been through something, but it doesn't hurt. If you go and you touch scar tissue or something and there's pain there, that means it didn't heal properly. That means that it's infected. That means it actually needs to be opened up and cleaned out again so it can heal properly.
Yeah, all the talk about scars got me thinking about, like, the little tiny calluses I have on my hands after working out
from your time in the gym.
because I've been working out for
from pumping iron.
No
He's
big
buff,
deal.
everyone.
I'm thinking about like that part of my hand. It looks different than the rest of my hand because of pressure that I put on it over time against an obstacle again and again and again and again. And I think that's something that we have a lot of practice in, or we can have a lot of practice in too, is sort of bench pressing doubts and fears and shame off our chest again and again and again. I think we develop some helpful scars. I think, like, callus is a way to say scar that implies that, like, we meant to do it and we're gonna keep it's a discipline that we're doing. And I think pushing shame and doubt and fear away from the most intimate parts of ourselves is something that we have a lot of practice in doing. So,
well, and Grant, there's something that you gained from it as well. Like, you didn't just gain calluses, you've gained muscle mass, like you've gained strength and the ability to know that you're capable of doing something that you weren't capable of doing a month ago. And I think that's the same with emotional resilience, or with our own identities, the resilience that we carry there too. It's not even like, I think it's less about what you lose in the process and more about what we gain as we continue on the journey.
Come on now. And come on, suffering produces character, character produces hope, and hope does not put us to shame. Come on.
And hallelujah.
That's it.
I also have to say, I had a call with Grant Hartley this morning, and I have been pondering on the verse that he threw at me, that you threw at me today. Do you remember this? Because I was pondering about it on this.
We love a Catholic who reads their Bible. Okay?
Well, yes. Okay. Yes. I accept that. Thank you.
But we were talking about...
You can take the boy out of the Baptist, but you can't get the Baptist out of the boy.
That is true. But he quoted to me 1 Corinthians 4, but we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that the surpassing power belongs to God, not to us. We are afflicted in every way, but not crushed, perplexed, but not driven to despair, persecuted, but not forsaken,
abandoned.
struck down, but not destroyed, always carrying in the body the death of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may be manifested in our bodies.
Why did I
We
just
have like
start
a
singing?
theme scripture for this season now.
Yes.
Right?
I just started singing
Yes.
Trading My Sorrows as you were reading that
That's
scripture.
right.
I think
That's
that's
right. I
what
love
some
that
of us
song.
were
Talk about
getting at
Baptist.
with. Yeah,
That's
we
right.
were.
Okay.
I think that's what
That's
some of us
right.
were getting at with like the scar imagery. It's like carrying in our bodies the death of Jesus,
Yeah.
Mm.
so that
Yeah.
we can also,
Mm.
so that His life can be in us too. I just,
Yeah.
Amen.
Like, we forget that Jesus, even in his resurrected body, had
Yeah.
scars.
Yes, he bears
They
those
do-
scars.
Exactly. They do not go away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That they're there.
That's it.
Woo! I think this
And
is the
he
most
told-
Christian our podcast has ever
I
gotten.
Oh my
know.
gosh. I was like,
I love
speak
it.
for yourself, girl, okay?
I love it.
And like, I mean, even Jesus.
I mean, where else is that
How dare
resiliency
you.
going to come from?
how
for
dare
a
you say
Okay.
that,
lifetime,
Henry,
you
who
know?
We
has
just
quoted
had-
the Bible every
Oh,
single
yes.
episode?
Oh, yeah, every single
episode.
Every single episode. I'm just proud of us that we just quoted like 4 Bible verses in
I
less
know, in
than
a
like
row.
5 minutes.
Yes.
Good stuff.
No,
Hey,
but
we
that's
are
a good
very-
point when you said that even Jesus had his scars. Because like when they didn't believe it was him, he was like, "Look at my hands."
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I
just
went there.
goes
I
show
did
that.
that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I
Did
mean,
that,
he didn't
did
perform
that.
a miracle for him.
Yeah.
He showed his scars.
And
Yeah.
anytime,
See, y'all are all so deep and being theological and biblical. And I swear, y'all, when I heard the word, the first thing I thought of was more 90s one-hit wonder from Chumbawamba. Of,
Yes,
I Get Up
yes.
Tonight, But I Get Up Again. Like, that was
Yes.
my...
Oh my gosh.
That was my
yes.
first thought on resilience. Nothing theological or, yes, carrying the scars of Jesus. I was thinking 90s.
so you're thinking about like
So,
I love that song.
yeah, it's great. There you
So now we have a scripture and a song to go with this season.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
do
the,
some
it's the
reels on
bounce
Instagram.
back. That's right. You ain't never gonna keep me down. There you go.
You know,
There you
Paul
go.
said to sing hymns and spiritual songs.
Okay.
I would suggest
And be
That-
a spiritual song if you sing it with the right heart.
I love it.
Amazing Grace, tub thumping. It
Yes.
goes
Most
together.
hymns started out as bar songs that they're
Okay.
I was about to say,
changed
didn't
the
Martin
words.
Luther take bar songs and turn them into hymns?
That's right. And I will take a whiskey drink and a sour drink
Okay.
anytime. So
Amen.
yes.
Oh,
I like it. I like it. Yeah, resilience ended up being the buzzword in education for the last couple of
I'm
years
sure.
because of everything students have faced. So, like, it's been a word that has been rolling around in my head for a long time because that's always, we kept putting more restrictions and there was more of this, and you have to wear a mask, or you have to have 28 days of quarantine, or whatever it was that they were facing. And it was always, the kids are going to be okay, they're resilient. And sometimes it felt almost like we were expecting more out of students than what they had to give. But then after a while, it showed to be true in a lot of ways, because kids were a whole lot better at rolling with the punches, being flexible, seeing that there was a setback or a frustration. I think especially of students that finished up their senior year and started their freshman year in college with these huge life milestones that didn't get to do any of those things. And a whole lot of the time, their parents were much more upset about it than the kids were. And sometimes being able to see how the young folk can be resilient and to understand the impermanence of life. I mean, they don't have the
Becca, that's
opportunity
so
to
good.
look back
Sorry.
in order to be able to see how amazing and awesome those memories are. And so they don't think that much about it. And I mean, just holding things loosely, you know?
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine, and her son graduated during the pandemic, delayed his freshman year because like they weren't open, so did it virtual, and then went back for his sophomore year, and then they're home right now again. And I was like, oh, he doesn't get to experience all that. And then she said he doesn't know any other way, that like, so this is normal to him. And I'm like, whenever we could be sitting here stuck and think through these things, like, oh, when you persevere and just look forward, it's like, oh, just adapting.
yeah. Like,
Okay, Becca, that was a good word. Okay.
Adapting. Yeah, that's a great way of
and
looking at
she
it.
said she wasn't being spiritual.
Okay. She was
know.
playing with us.
I
over
do have
here.
to give credit.
I mean, That took the long way to get there.
No,
You have to give credit.
I was going
to
to say, I do have to give credit because when we were thinking about themes, the first person who ended up giving me this idea unintentionally was I was having a conversation with the OG of Life on Side B, Meg Botts, and we were talking about emotional maturity. And then she brought up the point of emotional resilience. And it just started this conversation and also just thinking in me about this topic of resilience and really how important. And I already told you all guys this, but I will be honest with with listeners. I was kind of pondering how I feel like more than any other season, this has been the season where I have felt like I'm coming the least like equipped in it. Like, not that I have mastered like belonging or thriving or identity and stuff, but I felt like okay, I have questions, but I have my life kind of together. And I was like, for talking about resilience, I don't feel very resilient. And like, definitely just in my own life, it's been a process of learning. Like, just some echoing a lot of what you guys said. I think I've had to begin processing that resilience doesn't mean not having issues or not like I've always thought that resilience means pushing forward because nothing really phases you. But really, I know it's like I'm resilient when I get to the point where it doesn't phase me. But no, it's been like resilience is like in my situation, I have talked in the podcast about like being bipolar and like even like working with my counselor over the past month of going, I've had to get to points because I've been having a lot like more ups and downs in the past month and having to get to a point where I go, okay, what am I going to do this hour? And going right now, this hour, I'm doing this to deal with this because I can't think ahead of that. And like, what am I going to do the next hour to deal with it? Because there's times where it's like, I can only deal with this hour. I can't even deal with this day. I can deal with this hour and go forward from there. And that's it.
And I think we're even pointed to that in the Lord's Prayer. Give us this day our daily bread, right?
Yes.
It's like, I am just enough portion for today, but also like, give me, sometimes think through that. It's like, I can just go day by day, hour by hour, instead of having to, okay, God, I'm trying to have the next 3 months figured out. Like, I need to power through them. It's like, I got enough to power through today. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
That's right. At a time.
yeah.
And I don't think anybody is really at a place where they're like completely resilient, that they have this topic all together. It is absolutely a process. That's why we have to say those prayers every day. Like, that's why we need daily bread, because it's, I don't feel any more prepared, Josh, than you probably do. I'm sure that all of us are kind of like discovering it as we go, and we're going to be doing this for the rest of our lives.
And there's a reason it's called daily bread too, just going back to what is being fed. You can't eat one time and then be good for the rest of your life. You have to eat every day.
Don't I wish, okay, my body would be snatched, okay?
I can't.
No,
Oh,
no,
Lord.
you actually need to eat if you want to be like in shape and have a shape.
Yes.
Oh,
And something I've learned from lifting weights is that you want to build muscle, you have to eat more.
Yes.
Eat more.
Yes.
If you are doing a lot, you have to eat more. So take that for what it's worth. We gotta eat a lot. That's all I'm saying. We have to
We
eat
need
a
lots
lot.
and lots of Jesus.
and one thing that has stuck with me, Elizabeth, you mentioned this in our planning meeting, is like, especially I think where it's like queer Christians, there's this thing of, especially in resilience, I think when we are hurt many times, when we have to be resilient because of hurt from the church, it's that also that resilience of learning still how to go to Jesus in the midst of being hurt by his people and not separating our resilience from God.
Yep.
Wow.
And just how do we reclaim that? Like, how do we like reclaim our resilience in God, even when the very thing we have to be resilient against is God's people at times? So,
I don't have an answer to that. I still feel lost.
I got this. I was like, did he ask that to somebody,
I'm just-
expecting like a solid answer?
I'm putting this out. Like, these are things that I feel like we need to explore.
Please, Elizabeth,
and,
share
like,
your
in this
wisdom.
season, I'm hoping.
No, yeah, that's definitely like a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's that
And it's a big thing that I feel like as queer
the
Christians
forest
we have
and
to
the
deal with.
trees. Yes. Like, how do you discount and want to write off the church and still have so many people that are individual parts of the body? That whole versus individual is where so much of that conflict can come in. That somebody tweeted about it a couple of months ago, but it something along the lines of learning how the church causes the greatest pain in our lives, but it is also the church that has brought the greatest healing. And
Yes.
that paradox of finding healing in the thing that caused you pain is such a huge part of that journey, you know?
And
Yeah, I think
we have to take. I'm sorry, Grant.
no.
Yeah, I was just saying, I think that those are steps that we have to take too. Like, I think a part of being resilience is active. So we have to put ourselves in those positions, like Becca was saying, to say, okay, God, where are you teaching me things from the people that hurt me?
Yeah. Yeah, I think a couple of my friends have used the image of the church experiencing an autoimmune disease, like attacking itself. And the solution to that is not to amputate ourselves from the body, but it's to heal the body, and so that we can still be a part of it. Because amputation is just doing the job of the autoimmune disease for it. You know, it's just like, it's just sort of separating ourselves from the thing that will keep us alive. So trying to figure out how to do that is tricky, but I think essential.
100%.
It makes me think, like, when does resilience stop and maybe like us needing to walk away starts? In some cases, not, I'm saying throw the baby out with the bathwater, but I can tell you I've been in multiple church situations, ministry situations, where it's like, Elizabeth, you just need to endure. You need to be resilient. You need to understand that this is just how it. And it's like, I put up with a lot of stuff until finally I was like, I'm not making a difference here. I'm just actually getting hurt. And this isn't healthy for me. So I'm actually going to need to walk away right now.
I was just thinking through that whenever Grant was talking about that. I was like, you know what? I agree with that. And because even if, let's say you leave a church body, sometimes the only way you're probably going to find healing is within a church body. So it's like, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. But yeah, sometimes it's like, I've got to go shake the dust off these sandals and go.
Well, and that's the distinction between the
The most
local
resilient thing you can do.
Thing you can do, yes.
And I know for me,
Exactly.
that's been like the distinction between the local church and the universal church.
Yes.
Like, this
Right.
body may not be a good place, and I need to separate from that. But I am still part of the body of Christ, and there are still people, and that's where I'm going to
Amen.
find healing
Exactly.
in
Yeah.
For sure. There's the lowercase b body, like a lowercase b body, and then the capital B body. Like,
Yeah.
we can't
Yes.
separate ourselves from the
Yes.
capital B body. But a lowercase b body might not be the place where we fit. And that makes sense.
Exactly. Sometimes you need resiliency to leave. Like, that shows your
Yes.
resilience, that you're not so beat down that you stay.
And that's an
Yes.
episode we're going to cover, because we are planning to do the one on when to stay and when to leave. So you see,
Segue.
Yes.
should I stay or should I go?
Also a great song.
Maybe that'll be the theme
Yes.
song of that episode.
Yes, can we incorporate that?
This is gonna be-
How much does that cost?
This is
I
gonna
know.
be okay. This is gonna be a musical season. Okay.
Oh my gosh, if we could.
Because if I stay, there will be trouble.
Okay.
Yes.
Y'all, so that kind of segues us into the next thing of some of the topics we're going to be. I really am trying for us to actually stay as much on schedule as possible this year.
I support that.
And the co-hosts already know we're trying to get as much recording down on the front end, so then we can actually keep our recording stuff going on.
Yeah.
So, like, so far, you know, we have 3 episodes that are all based on what the patrons pick. Our Brilliant Bee patrons get to pick topics, so we don't know those. We have hopes of which ones they'll choose because we want to go to everything, but we're really excited about some. But what are some topics or guests or whatever that stands out to you in conversation that we're going to get?
Well, give us the list.
Okay.
Remind us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So for topics, we have we have confronting shame. Grant and Elizabeth are going to be talking about it at QCF. Yes. That will have already been recorded by the time this comes out, but I'm so excited for that. We're going to talk about Side B 101. What do we wish we would have known on the front end of this whole journey versus now?
Ooh, this could get messy. Okay.
We're going to talk about emotional resilience. Our patrons are going to choose an author of a recent book to come out. So they're gonna do that. And actually, I'll say the book because we already know. They picked Bridget to talk about heavy burdens. So that one will be that.
Yes.
We're going to talk about grieving, celibacy, past relationships, all of those kinds of things. We're going to talk about theology, sexual integrity, creativity in resilience. We're going to have a conversation on committed friendships, maybe some resilience in relationships and those things.
Ooh, okay.
And that one, I can confirm that one's going to be Art Pareda. And the grief one is going to be Leslie Hudson Reynolds again. Yes. Doubt and deconstruction is going to be the other one.
Yes,
which,
please.
Yeah. Well, we are going to have Johanna Marie Williams on for that one, which I hadn't told any of you all that yet. So I think, yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic. Big
Sexuality burnout. Like when you're side B outside of the side B community or side B communities and those kind of things.
Come on, Greg.
We're going to do a trans episode on transitioning. Why some trans people decide to transition, why some trans people do not, or just what things do they take into their decision of how to navigate their dysphoria? I think that's a better way of putting it. What do they take into account when deciding what steps am I going to take to mitigate my dysphoria?
It's right there. I love that.
Yeah. That's one that I think people just need to listen more and just be very slow to speak. Okay.
I was going to say, is this another one that we get to just shut up?
Yeah.
And listen?
Well, we will definitely be doing doing the interviews, but we will have 2 trans people. One who has decided not to to take non medical interventions. Yeah, in order to deal with their dysphoria, and another who has decided to take other approaches to mitigate their dysphoria.
Do they know each other?
They do know each other. They do know each
Do
other.
they like each other?
They do like each other.
Yeah, I said, girl, I don't need no drama on this one. Okay.
I am the only, and listeners, the only reason I'm not sharing names yet is because I want to make sure we have people confirmed before I do stuff, and sometimes guests change.
The audacity of Henry saying, "No drama, please."
Henry is reserving the drama for himself. He's reserving it. It's just for
No. I'm over here minding my own business.
Filing
my
his
nails.
nails.
Okay?
I was hoping Henry was going to come to my house. I need
I
a
know.
manicure real bad.
Is that that?
Like, I'm
Yes,
next in
yeah.
Is
line.
that glass one?
It's the glass
Yes.
filer. Yes, y'all. It gives your nails this shiny like you got a manicure, and it's just a little
There you
glass
go.
thing. Yeah.
Yes, they
What's
are
up?
both friends. Actually, both of them and I got brunch together once. We had a great conversation. That's when I was like, you both need to be on the podcast.
Okay. Grant, I don't know why I'm going back to that. Why is Grant really trying to come for me? Oh my gosh. Okay.
I just love it so much. Okay.
Considering I had to die to get Grant Hartley to call me back. Okay.
That is not true.
You didn't want drama? You didn't want drama?
Yeah, I couldn't miss that one, Grant. To be fair, when I was and talked to Grant, I said that to him when I was in the hospital.
For someone who doesn't like drama, you immediately went to that.
I was like, hey, Grant, I just woke up from now. Okay. He was like, hey, okay, damn.
Putting it out there. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
No guilt.
The last few other ones, we're finally going to do an Ace episode. It's been long in the running. We're going to do it. And it won't be the last one, I promise.
Do you have anyone confirmed for that yet?
We have not confirmed people yet on that one. Then we co-hosts are going to talk about when to stay and when to leave unsafe spaces. And then we will have Wesley Hill and potentially another guest on prayer and spiritual discipline.
Beautiful.
We sometimes forget Wesley Hill has a book on prayer. He has a
Oh,
book
and
about
it's
the other
amazing.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Oh.
Henry, remember back in the day when I texted you that quote? No, I think I posted a quote where it's like, people who deal with racism don't need don't need education. They need exorcism.
Yes. That was good. I remember
Is that from his book?
It is from that book, and it is so good.
Wow.
You know Uncle West don't play.
Yeah. Okay. And lastly, we will also be talking about Side B and HIV.
Yes, I'm so excited about that one.
Yeah. There are a few other topics that are in the choice, like the voting for the Patreon stuff, so we'll see to that or not. So those are our topics that we have, and we're going to plan to stick next to it. Last year we did 27 episodes. We're going to stick to 20 this year. So 20 then with the Spanish episode, which y'all he says
we're gonna stick to 20.
I am sticking with it. I really am. I almost went up to like 22 and then I was like, no, we're doing 20.
I'm gonna be on that Spanish episode.
This year. Okay. Henry, Spanish, I already have your name on it.
I'm gonna get fluent. Watch.
I didn't know.
I'm not gonna slow down for you.
I speak Spanish, not fast.
Yeah, he does.
Yes. Oh my.
I know.
Yes.
Ashley, that last Spanish episode you did with Jan was great.
Well, I'm so glad that it went well.
Mm-hmm. I loved it.
It was a good one too. I really enjoyed the conversation.
So what is this?
I wish y'all could. What?
Go ahead.
What? I was gonna say I wish I could fly to a Spanish-speaking country and record there. How
you could be with me right now in El Salvador, and I can talk to no one. I am so glad. It's me and my two friends, and I didn't know one of them spoke Spanish, and it was the biggest blessing because we would be up the creek without a sail. Nobody really speaks English here, so we've been relying on her for everything.
Oh well, that's
so
good.
Yes.
I know. I'm so jealous that you get to be there.
Oh my gosh, drinking out of a coconut, casual.
Are you having a drink right now? Yes. Okay.
Grant, did you have thoughts? You looked like you were about to say something.
Oh, I just wanted to say that there's so many of those conversations that I'm so excited about. And the one that sticks out to me, I mean, there's many, and y'all can all share the one you're most excited about, or a few that you're most excited about as well. But I'm so excited about the ACE panel. I've been thinking for so long about how ACE folks have a lot to teach us about about sexuality in general, and about how that relates to different kinds of attraction and levels of attraction. And I think the ACE experience can provide so much insight, and I'm so excited to hear from ACE folks about that. So that's one that's
100%.
really sticking out to me. I'm really excited to get into.
And I'll be honest, it's one that we wait, like it should have been done a long time ago. Like we should have been having that episode should have been done way earlier, but I'm glad that we're finally doing it, and that starting more, because we need, there are so many Ace and Demi people in the Side B community. Like those voices are important to include, not just on a specifically like Ace episode, but throughout, you know, our guests and stuff. So being able to do that, I'm really excited. Any other ones stand out to y'all? You don't have to. If not, if you could be excited about many, but if there's anything that stands out, I'd love to hear.
I was going to say, I'm excited about the ones that are, I'm going to be just sitting back and learning. Like, one of the things I like about podcasting is being able to lead interviews and it be a little bit of a teaching experience, so I get my teacher fix. But this season, there's a lot of things that I'm excited about because I just don't know. It's either an experience I don't have for myself or something that I want to learn more about. So being a student more than a teacher this season is what I'm looking forward to.
Like, I feel like there's some conversations that we're having this season that we've probably wanted to have for a long time, and it either wasn't time yet or we weren't as prepared, or I don't know, but I feel like this season we're finally getting to a lot of those meatier conversations that we've been wanting to have, and that's something I'm really excited about.
Yeah, this is definitely a episode, like a season where we had like 40 ideas, and even just trying to pick out these 20.
Trying to get that down, yeah, that was hard.
That's why I'm so impressed you only have it at 20 episodes.
I'm telling you, I promised you all.
There were so many. I promised
you all we were doing 20.
I'm happy that the resilience related to HIV/AIDS wasn't cut. Like, I was so scared that we were going to lose that one, and I because I think just in general, it's a topic that isn't really broached very often. And you know, just the epidemic in and of itself was like quietly, in a sense, happening among the queer community, and everyone else just chose to ignore it. And I really am right, and I'm just so excited that as Christians and as Side B folk that we're like, no, we're not going to ignore this. We're not going to ignore this part of our history. We're also not going to ignore the fact that people are still suffering today with HIV/AIDS. And I think we can learn so much about resilience from the folks who have walked through this life, or maybe, you know, are still road. Like you were saying, Becca, what a humbling learning experience had.
I agree with all of that.
I really think you hit on a point about it's a part of our history that we don't think is part of our history, and I think we also forget that there are Side B people that have HIV as well and live with HIV, and like this is a part of many of our histories, and like I many of us even understand, like, depending on experience, of that fear of going to a clinic by yourself to get tested, not knowing what you're doing or what you're supposed to be doing or how anything works, because the Lord knows the education system doesn't teach you. And then you are trying to figure it out as like a young queer person of what to do. So
there are so many problems that go back to Ronald Reagan, and this is just one of them in this country.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Well, and I think it's a foundational aspect of a lot of people's internal homophobia right now is influenced by the way our country responded when AIDS, you know, in the late 80s and 90s. You know, you didn't want to be one of them. Like, that was one, a quick and easy out, and two, a sign of your, like, how dirty and disgusting you were to a lot of people. So and
you know what? No, saying that's such a good point, girl. Just because, like, I remember I wrote something in 2017 and it was a letter to the church and just to everybody about me being side B after I was already side B for a couple of years. And I said something about like Christians have a lot to learn from gay people in the gay community, specifically through the men and women who dealt and were the hands and feet of Jesus to dying and suffering people during the AIDS epidemic when Christians were unwilling to step in. And you're right. Whoever said that earlier, it's not a topic that is talked about, especially in Christian circles. So I'm so glad we're getting to dive into that this season.
Even just like the way that small things have been affected, I can't remember where I saw this. And if this is somehow wrong information, please correct me, listeners or co-hosts. But that the reason why the acronym is LGBT is to honor the lesbians who cared for gay men during the HIV/AIDS epidemic, because of how many of them cared for their fellow gay men or queer men or queer people with AIDS. That was why it started with L, because before that it was common to see GLBT as well. Anyway, if that's not correct, but
I'm accepting it. It gave me chills. That's beautiful.
Yes. Especially because we know how roles were reversed. Gay men would never have stepped up like that, the way women stepped up for us. And that's a whole topic in and of itself. So,
yeah. If it's not true, we're just going to claim that it is. So
we're claiming
it
now.
For sure.
Done. Well, I'm excited. And the one thing I want to put out to listeners is I don't care where you are on any kind of understanding of your beliefs or whatever. There is a potential, like we're going to have we always try to make sure our guests are diverse, like that we are catching multiple perspectives. And there may be an episode or two where you see someone who's on the podcast that you go, I don't like them and I don't like that they're on the podcast. We're trying to have conversations, and this is where I'm wanting us to be able to take listening postures of understanding and listening to people who have different experiences than us. That does not mean that they're right on everything. That does not mean that we have to agree, but we can take a posture of, I want to understand your story and I want to hear you in these conversations. And so that is across array of these things. And I think it's just an important as a community to learn how to listen well to people whose experiences are different than us in whatever way. That might be like, I mean, I could list off so many of the conversations where that might be very challenging to do that. But I just want to really encourage having a listening, learner, humble posture as we enter these conversations.
Yeah,
because what we're not doing in 2022 is living in echo chambers.
That's right. Yeah, I think that's part of learning and growing in resiliency is developing that empathy to be able to listen to other people. Otherwise, you're going to lack resiliency because something's going to knock you down a thought or an ideology, and you're not going to be able to get back up. Listening and processing is a huge part of it.
And learning from other people's resilience. Like, what good is it if we don't have to walk in their shoes, but we can learn from their example.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all, I'm excited. This is going to be fun.
Going to be good.
All right. Well,
season 4.
Everyone stay tuned for this next roller coaster ride. You're going to not want to miss any of the episodes, believe me. So
drama free.
Asterisk.
Drama free.
The episodes that Henry isn't there. Yes, drama free.
Oh my God, yeah, I deserve.
Wow. Henry's like, I died.
Oh goodness. And with that, listeners, we love you all. Try to have a drama-free year.
That's right. Yes.
Hi there. Thanks again for joining us for another installment of Life on Side B. For updates on new episodes, live events, and behind-the-scenes fun, find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter at Life on Side B. If you loved today's episode, please consider joining our Patreon team at patreon.com/lifeonsideb. Thank you so much again, and we'll see you soon.